Hey, what is up guys? DRC3 here, back with another My Hero Ultra Impact video, and today we're going to be showcasing the new SR Firm Wheel Kirishima. Now this is a summonable SR on the most recent banner with Zero that I really just personally don't like all that much, so I have not put any effort into his ability boards or his advanced leveling. Okay, so his advanced leveling is 0 across the board, and then for his peace route I got his first slot done because that's how you get the extra auto skill, right? I want both his auto skills at least. DX route, nothing, even though I have, I believe, yeah, more than enough to fully DX him. I could fully DX this character, I pulled so many of him, but he's just not worth it. And then I just barely have him awaken. Once again, I could put in some of these mats to get his ability boards up, obviously, as you see right here, at least a little bit more, but I feel like it's a waste. I really do. I feel like he's not that great, but nonetheless we're going to be showcasing him and we're going to see how he actually is. So the reason I say he's not good is because he is a tank character. He's built to be a tank, but a SR tank is just never going to hold up to a UR tank, never going to be as good as a UR tank. And so for an SR, like, as a tank, he has a phenomenal kit. He is probably one of the best SR tanks there is, but really that's just not useful in VE Tower, which is mainly where SRs are used, or Ultra Arena, because there's just going to be better options for tanks because you're going to use a UR, right? So he kind of just lacks a use in the game right now, which is why I say he's bad. If they add new content into the game later, he could become useful. If they add character specific use SRs to do this missions or whatever, he could become useful, right? But as of right now, he is not super useful. So his plus ultra move is called Ardent Frenzy. It deals 450% damage to a single opponent. Also increases skill impact by 30% if character's defense is higher than the opponent's. We'll see if it's higher or not. There's no real way to easily tell, unfortunately, as far as I know in the game, that tells you if your defense is higher than theirs, so you just kind of have to hope for the best. It's going to be hard to tell. His first action skill is called Unbreakable Claw. Deals 225% damage to a single opponent, increases skill impact by 20% when character's max HP is increased. That's easy to do. Also increases character's defense by 20% for 3 turns. Okay, easy enough, and it does have a 5-turn cooldown. His second action skill is called Red Counter. Gives character ability to counter for 2 turns after receiving a normal attack. That's decent, right? Counter for 2 turns is okay for an SR. For URs, it's 3 turns and they draw aggro. Increases character's max HP by 15% for 3 turns, and then increases character's power by 20% for 3 turns. So increasing the max HP, there you go. You want to do the second action skill first. That way you get the max HP increase, so you get extra skill impact on your first action skill when you use it afterwards. Increases character's power by 20% for 3 turns. Also gives character a barrier that nullifies 2 hits. That's great. Having a barrier that nullifies 2 hits, we're getting extra defense after we've used our first action skill after using the second action skill. So extra defense, barrier is not bad at all. A very good tank kit, tank ability. Like I'm happy with that, right? Continuing, the first auto skill is called Unwavering Courage. Gives character the ability to cover allies when using a barrier. So that's also good. So his second action skill will give him a barrier that nullifies 2 hits. So he'll draw aggro for those 2 hits. But then after those 2 barriers are gone, he's not necessarily going to draw aggro, so keep that in mind. And then once per battle, increases character's max HP by 20% when HP is below 30%. Okay, helpful, because that increases his defense when he uses his first action skill. And then his second auto skill, Hardening to the Max, increases defense of all int type allies by 10%. So because of that, we are going to be running an all int type team, and we are going to be taking on the Flame Stage SS difficulty against Endeavor, who is a blue type enemy. And we're going to see how well this team does and how well Kirishima survives. And then also gives character a barrier that nullifies 2 hits every 3 turns up to 3 times. So he could potentially have 4 barriers at one time and draw aggro for 4 hits. We're going to see how good these barrier stacking mechanics really are, and if they're enough to draw the aggro and keep our team alive and actually be useful. So that's what the goal with Kirishima here is. We do have a level 110 Jiro and a level 100 Todoroki. The reason I'm running the Jiro is for healing on Kirishima if he is going to be drawing aggro, so hopefully we heal him up and he survives because he is only level 70. I don't have much put into him, right? And then we're running Todoroki for status ailments, and we're just going to see like what type of general score we can get, if it's a somewhat respectable score that we can get with this guy on the team. So I don't think it's going to be too terrible. This Kirishima is like not Not bad, but just remember, if you're running him in VE Tower and you're trying to get a decent score, then you are going to need other characters that can get your technicals, that can get your status elements, and get your crits and stuff like that. So let's hop in. Alright, as we get into this, Endeavor has 697,000 health. We want to take it off auto because we definitely don't want that to go through on accident. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use stereo speakers first, which is going to allow Jiro to hide. So that's one less target for Endeavor. Hopefully Kirishima will be able to draw aggro. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use we'll use the Fire Dance, which increases our plus ultra. And then we're going to use Red Counter, which gives him the ability to counter for 2 turns, increases his max HP, increases his power, and also gives him a barrier that nullifies 2 hits, which in turn gives him the draw aggro. And before we press start turn here, we're going to go ahead and go into the menu. And we're going to take a look at our extra defense. So Jiro has a defense up 66% apparently, which is a lot. And Kirishima, let's see, his defense up by 10%. That's the 10% he's providing. And then Todoroki should have a similar thing where he is also getting defense up by 15%. So 10% of each of those is coming from Kirishima. Let's hope this skill for Kirishima isn't fast. It is. It counts as a counter. Dang it. So I missed the tap right there, unfortunately, which is going to mess up the score a little bit. But he did draw aggro. We haven't taken any damage yet, which is nice. And we do have increased max HP. So now we're going to go ahead and do this, which is going to increase our defense. And it's also going to increase our skill impact because we have increased max HP. 10,000 damage. It's not super great in terms of damage, obviously, as you just saw. But he is only level 70, so keep that in mind. It's not like this is a level 80 SR showcase, level 120 SR showcase. Like the level 120 Kaminari, absolutely insane as a free-to-play unit. This character is only level 70 right now, though. So the Ardent Frenzy is going to increase skill impact by 30% if his defense is higher than Endeavor's. Let's see. Nothing for a defense up, right, on Endeavor, whereas we have our defense up by 10%, so we're going to hope that our defense is higher and that lets Kirishima hit a little bit harder. Like I said, there's just no easy way in the game to know if your defense is actually higher or not. But we do have him pretty well chunked at this point, and we haven't really taken much damage. Kirishima does have a barrier, so he's going to draw aggro right here, which is also nice, because he gets that barrier from his passive. So there's the aggro. He took the hit, tanked the hit, which is actually nice. You know what? I take it back. Kirishima's not completely, like, he's not that bad. 36,000, he's not that bad. Okay, that honestly not terrible. Now here's the terrible part. We are on turn 4, and he has 5 turn cooldowns on his action skills. So that makes him a little bit rough to use unless you have like the splash memory, which does action skill cooldown time for all allies. You have a character who does action skill cooldown time for all allies, or you put an action skill cooldown time memory on Kirishima, which then takes away from your crit memories. So you gotta kind of pick your poison, and that's another reason he's not super great as an SR character. But look, he has another barrier, so like I can't complain too much. He is perfectly fulfilling his role as a tank. As a level 70, to be surviving double S difficulty against Blue Endeavor with no damage so far, actually an impressive tank. I'm impressed with the amount of barriers he is getting. I didn't think it would be this much. And we just have Jiro hide there again just to be safe, and also so hopefully he targets Kirishima. And next turn we should have our action skills back up. And I guess the barrier doesn't really mean a whole lot when he does a multi-hit attack apparently, so keep that in mind as well. We'll go ahead and do this, which is going to give us the ability to counter his normal attacks, increase our max HP, which will be helpful at this point because he's taken some damage, and increase our power and give him more barriers. And we'll try not to miss the tap this time, so we'll go ahead and do this. Let's do this and go for the confuse. And we missed the tap. Alright, but even if he plus ultras us, oh nope, he got confused, so we're not going to get plus ultra. But even if he did plus ultra us, we had a barrier, Kirishima would have drawn aggro, and we actually would have been alright. We'll go ahead and do this, and then we'll use the plus ultras next turn. And he's frozen, so once again we're good. And this turn he should die to the combination of these 3. Honestly, not bad. He fits in pretty well on an all-in type team. I feel like he's going to be a character who just has very niche roles. He only works on certain teams, certain towers, certain enemies when you're running as blue type enemies. Other than that, he's going to be difficult to use in VE Tower, but he definitely after going through the showcase, after using him a little bit, I do think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to have a few uses in the game, the way the game is currently set up. In the future, if they have special missions where it requires you to use like an SR Kirishima, or they add a game mode where SRs are more useful, then he might find more use there. But an 8-turn clear here isn't terrible. It actually could have been a lot lower if we had action skill cooldown time memories on Kirishima, I believe, and Todoroki. Like, I feel like we could have gotten a little bit better of a score, but overall not too terrible. Only 7 critical hits, so obviously we're lacking crits and stuff like that, but we were able to get the status elements. So if you have the right characters to run alongside him, you'll be okay, but you need other characters to compensate for all the things he lacks. What is he good at? He's good at keeping your team alive. He's good at being a tank, and that's what his kit was designed for. He's not good for status elements, technicals, plus ultra, any of that stuff that you might need, but he can allow the other 2 units to do those things, so it opens up more options, I guess, for your other units outside of what you might normally run. Anyways, guys, that was the showcase for the new SR Kirishima. If you guys enjoyed the video, please go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.